like not much to see. All right. So again, if you remember the pattern of displacement, again, these corrections are correcting the pattern. So to correct the scaphoid, I'm going to find the hole, the depression in the capitate. I'm going to traction this way, going towards the lunate. Excuse me, towards the scaphoid. So start out here and go like this, then I'm ending up on it, and then it's just kind of a push lateral. And then the triquetrum, I'm going to just kind of go the other direction and push that way. So many of these don't necessarily have big pops. It's, as I said, it's just kind of correcting patterns of displacement. And so at the end of the day, so to speak, when you're able to have done this, you would have corrected most of the carpal bones. And again, as you can see, a lot of this is not like bull in the china shop. It's more discrete kind of correction. So you're just kind of setting everything and resetting everything. And not that you necessarily couldn't like screw something up, but mostly you're not. You're just kind of mobilizing things. And again, if you honor the paraphysiologic space, you're not going to cause any kind of a problem. It's just mobilization of the joint or manipulation of the joint. So that was for the scaphoid and the triquetrum. Now, the last one actually is the trapezium. So this is the thumb manipulation. There's 3 different holds for it, basically to do the same thing. So this is a pretty significant joint because the thumb movement is pretty much major, right? This is what separates us from the primates. Is we have opposition going on. So I can do one of 2 things. I can grab her thumb like this, and then I'm going to put my my thumb on the trapezium. And so when you palpate, you want to be able to say, where is it, right, with authority. So as I come down more proximally, right here is the joint space between the first metacarpal and the trapezium. So I know that, okay, that's the trapezium. My other hand is going to come across, and I'm going to kind of just grab. This thumb is going to go on top of my other thumb, right? This is the drive thumb. So this hand here is going to do what I call the can opener. It's going to, you all know how to open up a can that way? Mm-hmm. This is the good old days when they had a can opener. Beer bottle. Like that. Well, this hand is doing that. This hand is pushing this one this way. So it's kind of like that. Okay? So that's the one way to correct it. That sometimes is helpful if the person has a bigger hand than you. The other way to correct it, and in the notes I call this the handshake technique. So when you shake somebody's hand, my thumb is over here, right? So what I'm going to do is shake her hand and put my thumb same place. So instead of being like this, I'm like this. But then this hand comes in and does the same thing. Just kind of can opener and push. Okay. The last one of the series of correction is to use my pisiform. So I can either use support by putting it on her leg, or I could use it by putting it on my leg, although it's probably more professional to use the patient's leg, right? So I'm going to do the same kind of hold like this, but I'm going to use my pisiform to come down. So I'm putting my pisiform on the back of my thumb. But this is still doing can opener, while this one's kind of coming in, taking my slack and traction, and then using the pisiform to make that kind of a thrust, going the same way. I am pulling the thumb to create space. And then it's always going to be can opener. And then it's either going to be thumb pushing, or pisiform pushing to create that space. There are a myriad, maybe not a myriad, a couple other ways that this joint could be corrected that other people have, come up with. But I'm not going to get into those. I think Lauren has her own unique way of doing it. But rather than confuse you, I'm just going to keep it to these 3 techniques. On the midterm, you'll be asked to show one of them, whichever one you kind of develop the best, rather than us telling you which one to do. Like I said, if you've got somebody with a big paw and you have a small hand, the handshake one might be difficult to get around, but this one would be easier. And then it's pretty discreet. As I mentioned, you can see my thumbs are blanching. I mean, I got pretty good pressure on there before I do anything. And so that way when I make my correction, it's kind of all set and ready to go, rather than like, limp biscuit and then jumping to attention or something. that doesn't really work very well. Okay, any questions about the thumb, which is going to either be referred to as thumb manipulation or the trapezium? Okay, let's practice those up.